Buenos dias. So, hey Beth. So, feeling much better today. Getting absolutely blinded by some lovely sun, which is good. We've had quite a bit of thunder and rain on and off in the last few days. Yesterday was quite a dull, cloudy day, which was good because, as some of you know, I haven't been very well the last few days, and I actually had to take a couple, 3 days ago, I couldn't even turn a pedal. Did a few miles, but had to stop and stay in a campsite for a couple of days. And the guy there, he let us stay in a caravan for the same money as a tent, and that turned out to be no real better sleep because it's literally the hardest mattress I've ever slept on in my life. Oh man, just had some sort of stomach problem. It started quite a few days ago when I was in Gijón in the night, but it was just sort of like, pain, track wind or something like that. I don't even know. But yeah, then a couple of days ago it developed into being something nasty. So yeah, I was just really weak and ruined, and everything ached, and also my hands have taken quite a battering because doing a lot of off-road stuff with no front suspension. So I'm just on a gravel bike, not on a mountain bike, and it's kind of like mountain bike riding in some ways. So that just makes your hands, it's like I'm getting an insight into what it's like to be my 97-year-old granddad who can't write with a pen. Or I had to sign a signature at a campsite the other day, when I first went to pick up the pen, I couldn't hold the bloody pen. Anyway, yeah, so there's little things like that going on. But I do feel, so yesterday did get up and pushed on to do 17 miles to this campsite where we're at now, which is lovely. It was a sort of a thing of just have to get on the bike and suck it and see, really. Like I said, it wasn't too hot, it wasn't too sunny. As usual, there was some busting ass blooming push up the hills and climbs, which I managed to ride some and not others. But my legs felt so much stronger. I was still sweating with a fever thing. And then we went to tourist information to get our desejos, so the stamps that you put in your passport every day that gets you, when you get to Compostela, to the cathedral, we should get a certificate. We'll talk about that, I'll show you that at the end. And she'd said, "Oh, how are you doing? Are you well on your trip?" And I said, "No, I'm not very well." And so anyway, she said, "Why don't you go to the supermarket and get bicarbonate of soda," which is something that I'd completely forgotten about. I was thinking Andrew's liver salts, wishing, God, I wish I had some Andrew's liver salts. Anyway, she said, "Oh yeah, just go to the supermarket, and there's a free toilet in there, and you can get bicarbonate of soda and put lemon juice in your bottle." So anyway, I started taking that yesterday, and that has really helped. So yeah, feeling a lot brighter today. We're going to push on to Ribadeiro, which is the next main town. I don't know which direction. We're going to have a look. They go to the train station, see about our train tickets, because it's not quite the end in sight, but we've done something like 277 miles, and I don't know, I think there's like 100 to 150 left to go, so it's not that much, a few days left, depending on hills and health and heat, basically. It was funny, we took all the kit off the bikes yesterday and rode them down to somewhere to get something to eat, and it was so weird being on the bikes without any kit on. Very strange. It's going to be so light riding when I get home. I'm not carrying a house, but it's all the kit, clothes, cooker, wash stuff, sleep kit, it's all on there, medicines, tools, all that kind of thing. You've seen what I've packed. I don't even know why I'm telling you that. Okay, everything is going on here. I've got people chatting on my left. You can probably hear lovely bit of Spanish there. Lovely gents. Good morning. Lady going off in her car. You stand in a place and you think, oh, it's nice and quiet here. Then it's not. Okay. Ciao. Buenos dias. Adios. Days riding along lovely tracks and lanes and a boardwalk section behind a beach at Castropol, and today was the day that we left, said bye-bye to Asturias, and I felt a bit sad really. We went over the longest bridge along this like narrow path which was right out on the edge of the bridge. Huge drop to the water below on the right hand side, and on the left hand side just like endless lorries, massive lorries coming by and by, and I made the mistake of stopping to look at the view, and it was really hairy getting going again, but yeah, before that we had an easy ride into Tapia de Casiero, where we met this cool fellow cyclist, Nikolai from Germany. He'd been on his bike for 5 months, although 2 of those he'd spent in a monastery at Bordeaux, and he only navigated using a compass. And yeah, the pictures, here we are, we're into Galicia, greeted by these 2 great metal statues and just like more spectacular views. It was fantastic. Voila. What a result. Done the quota of the minimum we can do a day now is 18 miles to hit the target by a certain date, to then faff around to find out about the train. Got to Ribadera, went to the train station. It's just like Britain, you can't speak to a person anymore. There's a machine. There was luckily a train driver on the station, just sat in a deck chair in his jeans, as you do. Sat there with his train running, just sat there, no one else there. Class. He rang up a friend, that friend, another train person, he didn't really know, so then you go and you have to, you can tap a screen and speak to a person, like a girl that looked about 12 and she just said, oh, just go on the train and get the ticket on the train. So we've got 2 bikes. It says you've got to book spaces, and some trains don't take bikes. Well, anyway, complete like, how can you not know? Anyway, done all of that. Legs started off good, and then the more you stop, my legs just sort of the lactic, I guess, builds up. Just don't like it anymore. So had 8 more miles to go to get to the campsite that was the sort of target campsite, and then suddenly these signs come up for a campsite that's not on maps, it's not on the Buen Camino app, it's not on anything. I thought, oh, I'll just cycle up that lane and just see. Absolute peach, like, it's all the pitches are flat. It is right by the main road, but that'll be quiet later. And there's a bar and you can get sandwiches, there's food down the road, and there's a swimming pool, so I'm hoping to go in that in a minute. And there's literally 1 other van with a tent and 1 other caravan and us in a tent. What a result. Is that right, Joe? And it's a bit breezy, which is lovely, it's a bit sunny, which is lovely, and yeah, all is good. And I feel like the batteries are slowly running out. That's all I'm gonna say. Adios, and see you soon. The tent up in record time today. 2 minutes and 41 seconds. Smashed it. Pool was nippy at first, but I didn't want to get out in the end, although lying on the sun loungers in actual sun was glorious. This was very much needed at the end of a long, hot day. So was food, but you have to wait until 9 o'clock at night to eat down the road, you crazy Spaniards. Climbs today. First day that I was not only cycling on the climbs but also alongside my mate. So yeah, health and fitness are improving along the way. Well, I kept up with him until the giant steep hill came, and it really did. There were several. Got to Lorenza for a late lunch. Pavement picnic, my favourite, and sitting on the bench listening to I'm Sorry But I Haven't Got a Clue, deciding on whether to ride 7 miles more and take our chances on camping in a motorhome stop, or do the latter and find our first albergue, which it's really lucky we did, because as soon as we got bikes up into the room it was full on thunder and lightning, but it dried up a bit to go and have a little look around the amazing churches and sites in the town, as you can see here. Short way from the front door of Albergue Castellos is the pathway leading back out onto the Camino del Norte. It was so great. This is the earliest we've ever left. It's a different game, not having to pack the tent up, and look how beautiful it really was. And not before too long we were rolling into the square of Mondoñedo. Once these cafes got open, we sat down and had a nice bit of orange juice or holiday coke or something, and just sat listening and watching to the huge amount of swifts that were just going mad everywhere. Look how small I am. Gives you some scale of how huge this place really was. Mondoñedo Cathedral, and I couldn't resist but go in and have a tour. It cost €5 or €6, and you got that headset in English and other languages, and yeah, there was a lot to see. It was amazing. There were some fantastic artifacts, as well as just these vast, huge altars. I mean, yeah, when they do churches in Spain, it is just massive. Enough sightseeing, and it's time to get back on the bike and get some miles under the belt. The Camino del Norte is really well marked, and in the towns and cities quite often you see things like brass shells. And then it was today's Ben Nevis. Moments where it would open up and you'd get glimpses of how high you'd climbed, and then you realised there was more up. very nearly at the top. The descent down from here was fantastic. It was like lovely sweeping up and downs, and at the end of the day it was for another albergue in a beautiful orchard, and the guy cooked us the really nice typical Galician stew with lentils, and we all had a good night's sleep.